Hello, we are a group of multicultural NYU students currently taking a developmental psychology class. All of us have grown up in a culture that is different from our parents, so we can recognize some of the difficulties multicultural children can face as they come to terms with their unique identities. In this video, we've compiled research on practices that parents can implement to support children's development of their multicultural identities. Language. A lot of parents may be wary to expose their children to a second language, especially in the United States, which stresses a monolingual ideology, where speaking English is thought to be essential for professional success. However, research shows that bilingualism is actually being seen as a strength rather than a weakness. As the world becomes more globalized, it is beneficial to be able to communicate with more people. Furthermore, interacting with your child in your native language is a valuable way of sharing your culture and heritage. It's important to consider that raising a bilingual child must be intentional, since American culture is naturally dominant outside of the household, so it is beneficial to start implementing the target language in a day-to-day life early on. Depending on the household and whether or not both parents speak the second language that is being taught to the child, some parents may choose to take a one-parent, one-language approach. This is when only one parent interacts with the child in their native language, while the other parent speaks the dominant language. Research has shown this approach is effective because it balances the exposure between the two languages. Other parents may decide to speak just the native language at home and speak English outside. Research has also shown that finding a community where your child can interact with others in your native language can increase their confidence when speaking to others. This may include sending your child to a language or culture school, or even just setting up playdates with friends who are also bilingual.
Customs and traditions. When considering how to implement customs and traditions into a child's upbringing, it is important to remember that the earlier, the better. Some fun ways of doing this at any age include making a family tree, cooking traditional meals at home, or even going to restaurants. In general, think about the benefits of rituals and routines. Pick some of your own favorite traditions, like a favorite holiday growing up, and educate your children on their significance. Along with parental guidance, it is also recommended that children be allowed to decide for themselves what aspect of their culture they want to celebrate. A common misconception is that the customs from your birthplace will conflict with new ones being learned in the United States. However, there are ways to integrate the two cultures in a manner that is healthy for your child. Studies show that activities like these are critical because they provide your children with a sense of belonging and self-identity. Research further indicates that doing them together will also benefit child-parent relationships.
Racial diversity. Psychologists have found that children start noticing race and gender at as early as 6 months. It won't be long until a multiracial child points out how they look different from others and how others look different from them. Research has shown that it's important for parents and caregivers to emphasize the value of diversity when answering their questions. For instance, when children point out other skin colors, parents can say, "Yes, people do have different skin colors, and that's the beauty of the world we live in." This is called the value diversity approach. It calls to appreciate and celebrate our differences instead of emphasizing our similarities. According to research on the colorblind approach, the opposite of the value diversity approach, saying race doesn't exist or I don't see color, can result in children being less likely to identify and report overt acts of racial discrimination. Another effective way to show your child that it's okay to be different is by exposing them to a wide range of toys, books, TV shows, music, and people. Public libraries, community centers, and the internet are all great places to look for these resources. Lastly, your friendship circle matters. Studies have shown that children's racial attitudes are influenced by their caregivers' cross-race friendships. The diversity of your friendship circle can be as important as what you teach them verbally.
Cultural values. One of the biggest challenges bicultural or multicultural children face is growing up with two or more different, sometimes completely opposing, value systems. A child can be raised in a home with Culture A parents according to Culture A values, but the society outside their family may be following Culture B values. Or they could be raised in a home with one parent who holds Culture A values and one parent who holds Culture B values. If these differences are not addressed, research shows that children can develop incongruent cultural views, which will result in confusion and stress, as well as negatively impact their sense of self. Children who feel conflict over their identity may believe that it is impossible to harmoniously engage in different cultures at once, forcing them to choose one to identify with. Being truly bicultural means internalizing affiliations, attitudes, behaviors, knowledge, and values from two cultural systems, and developing the competence needed to successfully respond to culturally specific cues and demands. Children who are able to make sense of their two or more cultural value systems can become comfortable with their identity and are able to live effectively in both or all cultures. Bi or multiculturally competent adults are often seen to have had parents who are communicative with them and directly address the concept of culture from a young age. Studies have shown that parent endorsement of both the culture at large and the culture practiced within the family, or the multiple cultures practiced within the family, will help children coexist within different cultural systems. Socialization with others, especially peers of these cultures, will also have a positive impact. Raising a child to be multiculturally competent can seem like a daunting task, but this doesn't need to be another source of parental stress. Having these important discussions about race, diversity, and heritage can be a way for parents to strengthen their bonds with their children and better understand their child's journey in forming their multicultural identity. What children ultimately need is to feel safe and supported to explore and understand the cultures they are a part of. We hope this video has encouraged you to celebrate diversity and the cultures of your family with your children.
If you're interested in more information, here are some additional resources to check out.